protozoans, different protozoans, and where do they live, what are the different systems present in their body, what are the free living animals, what are the parasites, but how do they maintain their body processes, like that we will discuss about everything belongs to these protozoans. Now these are archived topics which we are going to discuss about them. Where do the protozoans live? Where do the protozoans are living? Most of the protozoans live in the water, in marine water, fresh water, brackish water, and you take some of them live in the moisture soil. Some of the parasites belongs to these protozoans live in the host body. So they can live in almost all types of ecosystems, especially in the aquatic environment. That aquatic environment is very suitable ecosystem to live the protozoans. Next, body organization. How is the structure of body? They are all are single cell organisms. All the activities, all the body processes, all the activities have to be take place in the one cell. That is the body organization. And life processes. This is our main discussion about this. What are the life processes in this? How is the digestive system? How do the food materials are digesting? What is the circulatory system present in the protozoans? Excretory system in the protozoans, reproductive system in the protozoans. What are the locomotory organs? Different types of locomotory organs. How do the locomotory organs are useful to move the animal? Is there any sedentary animals in these organisms? What type of reproductive mechanisms present in the protozoans? That is our main discussion. And the locomotory organs we have to focus specially. And nutrition. In the nutrition, many of the protozoans are free living animals, but few of them parasites are also there. But very few saprophytes, most of them are free living animals, few are parasites. The parasites, entamoeba, plasmodium, like that. Entamoeba causes dysentery and plasmodium causes malarial diseases. Amoeba, euglena, paramecium and Vaticella, these all are free living animals. They have to take the food material from the surroundings and they have to digest the food material in the food vacuoles with the help of enzymes. And another one animal is there. This is the Alphidium or Polystomella. The type study is there. In this type study, we mainly focus on the body structure and what is the alternation of generations, that is megalospheric form and the microspheric form. What is megalospheric form and what is microspheric form? How do the megalospheric forms are forming the microspheric form and the microspheric form is forming as the megalospheric form? That is the alternation of generations. We will discuss about them. And parasites and they causes disease, entamoeba, histolytica, plasmodium, leishmaniasis. Some of the parasites are living in the host body and some of them are causing disease to the human being also. They live in all types of environment. The body organization is cellular level of organization and the life processes. How do they take the food material? The amoeba is taking the food material with the help of this pseudopodia. Cilia are used to receive the food material. And in the verticella, the cilia, these are sedentary animals, although they can take the food material from their surroundings with the help of this cilia. The cilia moves like this, always create negative pressure. Due to the creation of negative pressure, the water current or food particles enter into the body of this verticella. In these paramecium, these two are called the filter feeding animals because they are moving the cilia and filtering the water and taking the food material into their body. This type of nutrition is called the phagocytic nutrition. Phagocytic nutrition means they can take some solid food materials or semi-solid food materials into their body and they can digest the food material. Phagocytosis or pinocytosis. What do you mean by pinocytosis? Is the pinocytosis is taking the liquid food material, but although that should be digested in the body. So what are the digestive organs present in these free living animals to digest the food materials? Means those are food vacuoles. These are called the food vacuoles. In all these free living animals, the food vacuoles are present. These food vacuoles receive the food material from the surroundings and formed as a food vacuole. Then they are attached to the lysosomes. The lysosomes are containing the digestive enzymes, proteolytic enzymes, amylases and lipases, all types of enzymes are present in the lysosome. They can digest the food material, and the undigested food material expel out through this same food vacuole. But whereas in this euglena, this is euglena, this is mixotrophic nutrition. What is mixotrophic nutrition means? Euglena are having some chromatophores. These chromatophores are containing the chlorophyll molecules. This chlorophyll can perform the photosynthesis process and can prepare the food material called the glucose or carbohydrate. Means this euglena can prepare its food by its own, but that food is not enough for this organism. That's why it is taking the food material from the surroundings. That's why it is called as the mixotrophic nutrition. This is heterotrophic and heterotrophic nutrition, but whereas in the euglena that is called the mixotrophic nutrition. So the euglena is the linking animal in between the plants and animals, and that means plant and animals were origin from the same type of ancestors before 3 or 3.5 billion years ago during the evolution. This is the evidence. So this animal, this euglena is keeping in the animal phyla but not in the plant phyla, because most of the characters are belongs to animal kingdom, but few characters, only the presence of this chromatophores is the plant character. That's why it is. Next one is in the life process, circulatory system. What type of circulatory system is present in these animals? So these I am writing here, free living animals. These are free living animals. We are discussing about the systems in free living animals, but these are called the parasites. What type of systems are present in these parasites? In the free living animals, the digestion is taking place in the food vacuoles, what type of respiratory system is present in this? These all are free living animals. They require oxygen to perform the aerobic respiration in the mitochondria, to liberate the energy from the food material called the glucose. The glycolysis, Krebs cycle, electron transport chain, these all three types of phosphorylations are same in almost all the organisms, aerobic organisms. So in these single cell organisms also the cellular respiration is same as usual like all other animals. So they have to take the oxygen from the surroundings. How do they take the oxygen from their surroundings is important, because this pellicular plasma membrane is exposed to the environment. The environment or aquatic environment is containing lot of oxygen. The oxygen freely entered into the body without any barriers. The oxygen enter into the body and the carbon dioxide diffused out. This is called the diffuse. Oxygen, carbon dioxide are exchanging by the diffusion process. Then what type of circulatory system is present in the single celled free living animals? No circulatory system in these animals, because only one cell is there. What is the need of circulatory system? But in the parasites, they don't need any oxygen because they are living in almost anaerobic conditions. For example, the centamoeba live in our large intestine. This plasmodium living in our liver, red blood cells or blood. So those conditions are anaerobic conditions. They do not take any oxygen. There is no oxygen actually. They do not. Without oxygen, they perform the cellular respiration called the anaerobic respiration. At that time, a very little amount of energy is liberated, that is 2 ATP molecules. In these free living animals, during the cellular respiration, 36 ATP molecules are liberated from the degradation of one glucose molecule, but whereas in the anaerobic condition, only 2 ATP molecules are released. Because these are all are free living animals, in these free living animals, so many metabolic activities have to take place to run the metabolic activities. Locomotion, digestion, reproduction, and so many activities have to take place in these organisms. So they require lot of amount of energy. Basal metabolic rate is very high. But whereas in the parasites, very little amount of ATP is releasing by the anaerobic respiration. That is enough. That the very little amount of energy is enough, because there is no digestive system, no circulatory system, no respiratory system. Many systems are absent in these parasites because there is no need of a particular life process or system in these organisms. only the reproductive system is highly developed in these organisms. So in these parasites, no digestive system, because the readily available food is in their surroundings. For example, they are living in large intestine, some are living in blood, some are living in small intestine. The digested food is available to them. There is no need of digestive system. There is no need of respiratory system, no need of circulatory system, no need of other systems in their body. So they require very little amount of energy. Then locomotory organs, for example. In this amoeba, the pseudopodia, these are called the false feet. In this paramecium, cilia are they small, and these are flagella. But whereas in the verticella, these flagella are there, but these flagella are not meant for the locomotion. These are sedentary animals. Verticella, they cannot move from one place to another place. These flagella present in these animals are used to capture the food material, filter feeding. But the pseudopodia, cilia or flagella are the locomotory organs. In our body, some neutrophils, eosinophils, basophil cells, dendritic cells, some other white blood cells are also having pseudopodia. They can move like this, how the amoeba is moving with the help of pseudopodia. Then this is Elphidium, life cycle Elphidium or Polystomella. In this Elphidium, this is megalosporic form. This is microsporic form. How can we microsporic form? What are the differences between megalosporic and microsporic form? Means in this long pronaculum is long, and this pronaculum is very short. With the help of this pronaculum, we can identify whether it is megalosporic form or microsporic form. Megalosporic form is actually asexual form. This microsporic form is sexual form. The megalosporic form can form the microsporic form during the reproduction. So here, this is the megalosporic form, asexual form. This is microsporic form, sexual form. This megalosporic form can form the microsporic form by the plasmatomy. The plasmatomy means the plasma present in the megalosporic form can split into many nuclei. Then what happens? The cytoplasm can accumulate each nuclei, and each can develop as one organism. That is called the plasmatomy. That is also a type of mitotic division. This can form microsporic forms. In the microsporic forms can form the male gametes and female gametes. Actually, these two are same. They are male gametes and female gametes, but that is called the isogamy, means same type of gametes are formed. By the fusion of these gametes, a zygote is formed. This is called the zygote. The zygote undergo the mitotic divisions and forms as the megalosporic form. Once the megalosporic form, asexual form, and the next microsporic form are the sexual form. This is once micro and next macro. Micro and macro. One is that generation is alternating. Alternation of generations found in the Elphidium, protozoans. Next, whereas in this animal or in amoeba, only asexual type of reproduction is taking place. Only asexual type of reproduction, either by binary fission, that is irregular binary fission in any direction. Cilia, it's called the paramecium, that is the transverse binary fission. In the euglena, longitudinal binary fission. In this, the sexual reproduction. In these two ciliates, a special type of sexual reproduction is taking place. The special type of reproduction is called the conjugation. Conjugation is a special type of reproductive mechanism taking place in the ciliates only. Actually, this conjugation is the sexual reproduction take place in the bacteria, but here in the Cilia the conjugation is taking place. Normally asexual reproduction by the binary fission, but sometimes they can choose the sexual reproduction, that is the conjugation process. When do they select the conjugation? When do they select the asexual reproduction or mitosis or the binary fission? That is important question, because normally they can choose the asexual reproduction because that is very easy. They can form the generations very fastly or quickly by the binary fission process. But after some generations, this paramecium and verticella cannot reproduce the next generation organisms, because these two type of organisms will become very weak, because they have the genetic material have gone through many generations in the asexual reproduction or binary fission. So in the binary fission, what is happening? Already existing genetic material is passing through many generations. After some generations, the genetic material will become very weak, because there are no mutations, there are no changes, no recombinations in that genetic material. That's why they are unable to reproduce the next generation organisms by the binary fission. That's why they choose the conjugation, the sexual reproduction. In the sexual reproduction, from this micronucleus, these are macronucleus, the micronucleus, both are present in these organs. Macronucleus and the micronuclei are there. From this micronucleus, some male and female gametes are formed. The male gametes are exchanged in between the two organisms, two paramecia, two verticella. Only the male gametes are exchanging, but not the female gametes. If the male gametes are exchanged, what happens? In this organism, the male gamete of this organism is fusing with the female gamete of this organism. In this also same. Then what happens? That new type of genetic material is added to these generations. Then they form the next generation with the new type of generations, with the new recombinations or with the new mutations. Then what happens? The new genetic material will get the energy, means with the mutations they can form the new generations with new type of genetic material, and they get the ability to reproduce the next generation with the help of asexual reproduction once again. Next, once we will focus on this parasites. This is the mosquito which can transfer, Anopheles mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito. This is the vector actually. Mosquito do not cause the malaria. Actually that can transport the plasmodium, that one. Plasmodium is responsible to cause the malarial disease in our body. The mosquito is acting as the vector which can transport the plasmodium. Plasmodium, there are 4 species are there: Plasmodium malariae, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium vivax and Plasmodium falciparum. There are 4. Plasmodium falciparum is very dangerous malarial disease. If this mosquito is infected with the Plasmodium, then some development take place in this mosquito digestive system and tissues. When this mosquito bites human, the sporozoites, this is actually sporozoite form, the sporozoites enter into the body and they can reach to the liver and they can develop up to some extent, and later they enter into the red blood cells and they can develop their generations. In the liver and in the RBC, they can develop their generations by eating the hemoglobin as the food material. Hemoglobin is the food material for this Plasmodium. They can take the hemoglobin and they can reproduce by asexual form. Asexual form. And after some days, what happened? These microorganisms can be developed as merozoites, micromerozoites and macromerozoites. Micromerozoites and macromerozoites. Macromerozoites will become the female gametes. Micromerozoites will become the male gametes. They are present in the infected body, the person who is suffering with the malaria. Then if one mosquito, Anopheles mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito can bite this man who is infected with the malaria, these merozoites, micro and macromerozoites enter into the body of mosquito, and that can go some changes in the digestive tract and extra and they will develop as a sporozoites and they can stored in the salivary glands of mosquito. When the mosquito bites a healthy human, these sporozoites enter into that body. They can continue their cycle by the asexual form in the liver and the red blood cells. This cycle goes on. So in the mosquito, that is called the sexual reproduction. In the human being, that is called the asexual reproduction.